So today, so normally we meet at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. That's like a weekly occurrence since this virus started. This pandemic. And starting March, we tried to find a way that all of us can communicate and connect without being able to see each other. And I started the quarantine cooking. And it picked up so much that our, the people watching us, the numbers grew. And I got some requests. And on a weekly basis, people were telling me, well, show us how to make a Dafina, but I can't make my Dafina on Thursday at 4 o'clock. I really need to do it on Friday.
I would eat it at Thursday at 4 o'clock.
I was thinking a couple of weeks ago, since the fast came on, was yesterday on Thursday, and as a result, wasn't appropriate, and I wasn't feeling up to doing a demo at 4 o'clock.
This is how you open up a can of chickens.
Non, ça va tomber sur les tuiles et le jus va couler.
All right.
It's not how you open a can.
That's how.
You're supposed to go in the sink, and you're supposed to make sure that you don't spill or drop it on the ground and crack.
Do I go in the sink?
Huh?
Do I go in the sink?
No, but the can's supposed to go in the sink. Anyways, so when the fast of Shabbat fell on Thursday, I said, oh, this is my opportunity to show everybody how to do a Dafina on Friday because I'm not going to be doing the demo on Thursday.
What do I do with the chickpeas?
So you just bring them here. So we sent out a memo on Facebook and I sent out the ingredients, and I hope you're all going to follow step by step this super easy, very simple Dafina, but very tasty.
Oh, Dina Suisa from Israel.
Very tasty.
Shabbat Shalom, sweetie.
Hi, Doda.
Doda.
So, I'm peeling potatoes. So, if you look at my Facebook feed from a couple of days ago, and Daniel shared it on his news feed as well, you're going to see I gave a list of ingredients for about 8 to 10 people. And
can I do one?
Although we're not going to maybe have 8 people, because it's just sometimes our kids that come, because we don't really have guests yet. I am still going to do it with this quantity so you can see how it's done. Now, in the past, I used to do the Dafina in the oven. Just traditional with a very big pot, just like my mother-in-law and my mom used to do it. But now it's the summer, we're in a very small apartment, very nice but very small. And so the smell would be too much, the heat of the oven too strong would be too much. So we no longer turn the oven very high, we don't do the Dafina in the oven, but it's been a few years even that I found a way to do it in the crock pot very easily and without having to use the oven. So even if somebody wants to do the hot plate to warm up the food for Shabbat and they don't want to turn their oven on, crock pot for the Dafina.
Can I wash the potatoes?
Yes, you can. In the meat sink though. Yeah, meat sink. So,
can I do it
the
now?
crock pot, the beauty of it is I'm going to turn it on now. On low, it's going to cook and do its magic. And then it's going to continue cooking all night. I don't really have to supervise it.
Well,
I don't have to be careful that there's not even, burn or anything in the oven. It's going to slow cook.
But you still have to dry
from now until tomorrow. 24 hours later, we're going to enjoy a beautiful lunch. So it's great. Really great. You can throw that in the garbage bag.
Sure, why not?
And bring me back dans le premier sac, le grand. Anyways, so it's great because it's fail-proof. So even beginners can make my Dafina. Even beginners that never made a Dafina could make this Dafina. So, depending on how many people you are, if you're doing a very small... Gladys is here joining us on Zoom. Hi, Gladys.
Gladys,
So, we're doing the Dafina. We're about to start. I have my crock pot and I have all my ingredients, and the recipe is on the Facebook link on Daniel or myself. But you can follow step by step. I'm going to repeat the ingredients. So,
Yes.
right now I have my crock pot set on the.
And you have Sandra Kuku saying Shabbat Shalom, dearest
Shabbat
Muriel and Danny Benlolo, Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
So we have the crock pot on the counter.
Yeah.
I'm using sort of a medium-sized crock pot because that's a good size
Should
for
I
8
plug it
people.
in?
Yeah. And I'm going to put it, like I said, on low. Mine has like a low, high, and warm setting. I put it on low the whole time and it's perfect. Now, if you're doing it for a smaller crowd, like 2 to 4 people, try to buy yourself a small crock pot and divide the recipe in half. Make sure you have enough room for everything. Don't buy the tiny crock pots because then you won't have room to put the rice and the wheat. Mine is medium size and it's perfect. I don't know how many quarts it is. I should have looked, but I'll find out and I'll write it on Facebook. Anyways, I start by peeling an onion, and that's going to go on my base. I'm going to cut it in 6. So half and then 3 pieces, each half. So I end up with 6 pieces. I'm going to put the canned chickpeas on the bottom, on one side of the crock pot, and I'm going to put my onions on top of the chickpeas. So I use 1 can of chickpeas for 8 people. It's sufficient. Now, if you don't have canned chickpeas and would like to use dried chickpeas, which it ends up being really delicious and sometimes even better, but I like shortcuts because I do too much. I do a lot, I should say, not too much, but I do a lot. And if I have to think of soaking the night before, getting it ready, whatever,
I do a lot.
this is so much easier.
Much
But
easier. Can I?
original recipe calls for fresh or dried chickpeas. You take them, you soak them in water overnight. The next morning you rinse them
Say hi
and
to
you
Merle.
put them in the pot.
Say hi to Muriel Moses.
Hi, Merle.
Yeah.
You're a bigger chef than I am. I'm so inspired and very honored that you're joining us today for the Dafina.
Oh, wow. Can I cut the potatoes?
Yes, you can. I'm going to show you though how we're going to do it. So I'm using, you can use small potatoes
I did that before,
and
yeah.
peel them. Today I'm doing a lot than just the Dafina, so I didn't want to take the time to.
Ooh, the bread, yeah.
I didn't want to take the time to.
Can you
peel
show them the bread?
small potatoes because we're preparing gifts for our donors, and in the gift today is going to be my beautiful challah. So
Gorgeous.
it's too bad that technology still hasn't created a way for you guys to smell
No.
my kitchen at the same time as you can see it. But boy, that challah really smells yummy. And so the people that are going to get the donors' gifts, so the synagogue donors' gifts today are going to have challah in their packages.
What do you challah about that? Oh, wow. Oh, Pam Stelsner. Hi, Pammy. All the Moishis are here. Oh, Mindy Khain is here. Stunning challah. Mindy Khain is a good cook. Oh, she's a great
The
cook.
challah came out so beautiful today.
Yeah.
I made
Can
it.
we show them one thing?
Yeah, I made it thinking of my baby sister who's at the hospital and who hasn't been really well this week. And so I did it with her in mind, with her refuah. Oh,
What?
you unplugged it.
So what?
Yeah.
It's okay. So we're having... Oh, no, what happened?
Yeah,
It's okay.
lost it.
No. It's okay. I'm gonna do
I'm here, but...
We're plugged in. We're plugged in. We're plugged in. Can you ask... oh, no. I don't want to end it.
No.
Okay.
Maybe the internet.
No,
Can I do it?
Yeah, the internet is fine. Just...
Tu peux demander à Shira.
Shira! Attends-le. Shira? Can you please help for a second? I don't know why we had
Our Facebook Live was here, and it says now, sorry, try.
Because I think I unplugged it 2 seconds. Just where do you...
Well, it still says you're live.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because I can see it on the watch party.
We can see on the watch party, but...
But can you see your faces on the watch party?
No,
No.
it stopped.
So just say
Yeah,
something then.
Oh, I can see you, Shira, now on the watch
Yeah.
party.
Use camera.
So it's the camera that's not.
Well, can you still see it?
Yeah, I can see it on Daddy's phone.
But you see him?
Yeah.
Okay, so then just
Just
point it where you want to point it and use that as a guide.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
okay. I can see you now, though. It's weird.
Yeah, but you're there.
Why can you see me?
No, because it's delayed. Oh, okay.
It's
Because
only
it's
delayed.
Can you
delayed.
still see it?
Yeah, I will eventually.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What about now?
No, use camera.
No, I tried it. I clicked on
Oh.
it.
Sorry about this little glitch there. Pam, you big...
Just
Okay. You continue on. Continue on. You're doing great.
keep going. It's just going to be delayed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You just go ahead.
So, I'm going to continue where I left off. For some reason, the watch party is showing you the video, is showing us the video, but on my phone, on my laptop, I can't really see it. It's
Comment if you can see.
it's annoying because
Just say comment.
I'd like to have the video.
Why don't you comment?
Encouraging
Yeah.
them.
You know what? Comment if you
look-
can't see.
Look here. You'll see here. This is you.
No, it's not the same thing. This is Zoom.
But it's the same. It's the same
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I said was, or where I left off, I put my can
Thanks,
of
Sheila.
chickpeas on the one side of the bottom of the pot. If you want to, no, I can't show them. And then I put my onion that I cut in 6 pieces.
Use this as if.
And then now I washed my meat. I'm going to put le jarret, so chunk, beef chunk. You can put veal chunk, so just like that.
Yeah.
And I'm putting bones, so beef bones that I pre-washed, so marrow bones or des genoux, knees, like just any type of like very hearty beef bones. That's going to add a lot of flavor, and it's going to add a depth to your sauce of the Dafina. So I've put on the bottom now, I put chickpeas, the cut up onion, the meat on the bottom, and now I'm cutting my potatoes. So if I were to use the small potatoes, I would use them and peel them and leave them whole. But because I'm using medium-sized potatoes, I'm going to cut each potato into 4 pieces. I don't want them small because I don't want them to overcook or burn. I want them to still have consistency. And I'm going to put them on top of the chickpeas and on top of the onions. So there we go.
That's my job.
Continue. No, it's okay. I'm going to continue cutting my potatoes in 4. So right now, let's say 1 potato per person, so about 8 medium potatoes if you're doing it for 8 people. Okay, so I'm just going to continue cutting, and all you're doing is placing them on top of the onion and chickpeas and next to the meat.
Can I show them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Wow, very nice. Now, some people like to put sweet potatoes in their Dafina. I don't. Now, the reason
Sometimes,
being,
but very rarely.
if I make a vegetarian Dafina with no meat, sometimes we want to have an ice cream in the afternoon or something, or whatever reason, and I don't want to put the meat in the Dafina, I put sweet potato because then it's like more of a vegetarian Dafina. But the traditional recipe, I tend not to put the sweet potato. It changes or alters the taste of the Dafina, and I personally don't like it. Some of my kids like the sweet potato, but whatever. Better me. Okay, so right now I have the meat on one side, the chickpeas on the bottom on one side, the onion cut up on the top, the potatoes cut up, and now I'm going to rinse 8 eggs, and I'm going to put them on top of the meat. So give me just 1 second. I'm going to wash my eggs. Some people parboil them a little bit. Don't bother. If you're going to go through the trouble of making dafina and you want this to be simple and quick and you don't want to be turned off, put your eggs like me raw. Simple. 10 minutes, your dafina will be ready.
Or your eggs will be ready.
Your dafina will be ready in 10 minutes. You're going to be ready to have assembled it, and then it just has to cook for 24 hours. But why bother boiling it, another pot, whatever? It's going to cook for 24 hours. It's going to be so cooked, it's going to be even brown. So, and don't be, discouraged if the color of your egg is brownish when you peel it and open it.
It's good.
Just
It's actually
because
better
it took
if
the
it's-
flavor and the seasoning of the dafina, and it's going to taste delicious. If you haven't had an egg from the dafina, you're going to love it. It's so much different than just the regular.
Sometimes, and this is the great thing about it,
Yeah.
because sometimes when the egg just cracks just a little bit, and then all the juices of the dafina go
You try
inside
not
the
to
egg.
have it crack.
No, but
when
I'm
you're
just saying-
you're putting it very gently so that
No,
it doesn't.
of course, but I'm saying it cracks during the cooking.
Yeah,
there.
and the reason why it cracks is if you're rushing and you're putting cold eggs in your
Oh,
dafina,
don't do
the
that.
heat is going to
Yeah,
make
don't
them
do
crack.
that.
Try to leave them at room temperature in the morning before you try to set up and do your dafina, and that way you avoid having them crack. So
The most beautiful thing also is when you Friday night you can smell
you start
the
smelling,
dafina
yes.
in the bedroom.
Now, if you put it in the oven and you pre-cook it on top of the stove before you put it in the oven, you're gonna smell it even before.
It does.
Yeah. So we've put the chickpeas, we put the veal chunk and the bones. You can put flanken if you want.
Flanken is very
Flanken with the
phenomenal.
bones. It's a
Yeah.
delicious piece of meat for the dafina, but I put jarret, so shank. And we put the potatoes and the eggs. Now I'm going to add some seasoning. So I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of oil. Regular oil, not flavored oil. Yeah, it's for generous. Daniel's making fun of me.
No, it's just a question
It's a
of
Moroccan way to
the
put the
spoon
table. Yeah.
just like overflow. Yeah.
Okay, so we have the 8 medium potatoes cut in 4 or small ones. If you're using small ones, it's about 3 small potatoes per person, and then the eggs.
I need more than
And
that.
now we're going to put some dafina spices.
That's the best part.
So the dafina spices, which I buy already made, it's a mixture of paprika, nutmeg, turmeric, cumin, garlic powder. Now, if you don't have access to épices de dafina, which Amselem sells already prepared, you can actually just put together tablespoon of paprika,
Well, you
teaspoon
used to
of
do that.
turmeric, tablespoon of cumin, and teaspoon or tablespoon of garlic powder, and put it in. But now I'm going to put 2 to 3 tablespoons of Dafina spices. This is just easier because all of the spices are already pre-measured and already mixed. Now I'm just putting it on top. Some people take a container, they put all the spices, the water, the oil, they mix it, they make a sauce and they pour it. You don't really have to do that. Again, shortcuts so that you don't get discouraged and you make your dafina. Now, I'm also going to put a tablespoon of harissa. It's not a very spicy harissa, it just gives a really beautiful flavor to the dafina. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of maratov, so chicken flavored, no MSG. So 2 tablespoons. There we go. And I'm going to put salt and pepper to taste. So I'm going to crack a little bit of pepper.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Probably some of you viewers are asking, if you're putting the spices of the dafina, do you really need the salt and pepper, or they don't
Yeah.
have?
No, it doesn't
Ah,
have
but you have to count. Yeah.
but it is. That's why it's in the recipe. I'm going to put
That was shut down right away. Eh?
2 cups of water. 2 cups of
2
water.
cups of water.
And I put water from the tap. I don't put boiling water. Now I'm going to start with 2 cups of water because that's how I'm going to now take the spices that are on the top and put them on the bottom. My pot is really big, so I'm going to add 2 more cups of water. Okay. So I'm going to add now 2 more cups of water, and that looks so much better. So you want to bring the water to like a 3/4 level. And if Daniel wants to bring the computer towards here, if you want to bring it just like that, because we can show everybody where my level of my water is. Yeah, so
Wow.
we bring it 3/4 level so that most of the potato and eggs, it doesn't have to be covered at all because we're going to put more stuff now on top. We're going to put the rice and the wheat berries, and so beautiful. So we can see now 3/4 of the level of the way of the pot. So again, I'm going to recap. I put a can of chickpeas. You can use soaked dried chickpeas that you soaked overnight. 1 onion cut up into 6 pieces. The meat on the other side. The potatoes cut up in 4.
You're doing good.
Yeah, the potatoes cut up in 4 if you're using a medium-sized potato. If you're using little potatoes, then use 3 to 4 per person. And I put 8 eggs. I've also put 2 to 3, I put actually 3 tablespoons of Dafina spices, which is a mixture of paprika, turmeric, cumin, nutmeg, garlic powder, and if you don't have that mixture, then put just a tablespoon or a teaspoon depending on your flavor of each of those spices. I put 2 tablespoons of marakov, 4 tablespoons of oil, and 1 large tablespoon of harissa. Harissa is optional, but it doesn't make the Dafina spicy, and it just gives a nice flavor. I've also put in here at the end 4 cups of water. I know that your recipe said 2 cups, but the 4 cups brings it to a level that's much better because I have a lot of ingredients in my pot, and this crock pot is quite big. I'm going to go get some honey and some dates, and I'll tell you why I put that in.
To make it sweet.
Not only.
To make it brown.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to put 2 mejul dates in the crock pot. I'm going to put 1 on one side and 1 on the other side. I'm going to take also 4 garlic cloves that I peeled already. I'm just going to put them in the 4 corners of my crock pot. And I'm going to take honey, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of honey. So the date is to brown or give a nice color to my Dafina. And the honey is to give like a sweet and offset a little bit of the spice and the flavors of the Dafina, and just adds to making the Dafina golden and have a delicious taste and color as it cooks. Okay.
Even I'm impressed.
Can't waste good honey. Really yummy. Okay. So now that your honey is in there and your 2 dates, and I put 4 cloves of garlic. I know the garlic wasn't in the list, but I like to add it. We're now going to prepare our rice bag and our wheat berry bag. So I use cooking bags. You can find them at the IGA Cavendish, or I used to bring them from Israel, but now that we can't travel, no one can bring us cooking bags from Israel. So what you do is you put them, I'm going to use my measuring cup, and I just place my bag like this in my measuring cup or in a sort of high container or jar. I'm going to use 1.5 cup of rice that I pre-washed. There we go. And then I'm going to use my spices. So, for the rice, because we used 1.5 cup of rice, we're going to use it. Technically, we should use 2 cups of rice, but I try to put 2.5 cups of water, or instead of 3 cups of water for 1.5 cup of rice, because it's going to cook for so long, and if I put too much water, it's going to get like too overcooked. So by putting just a little bit less water, you still keep it, not too mushy. So I'm going to put, for 1.5 cup of rice, I'm going to put 2.5 cup of water. Okay. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon turmeric. That's going to give it a beautiful color. It's also going to flavor the dish, and it's really great medicinal properties for the turmeric. I'm going to use a tablespoon of Moroccan, so chicken flavored powder. I'm going to use, I said a teaspoon, but I think that's going to be a lot, so I'm going to use just half a teaspoon or 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to go get some golden raisins and some meatball spice, and I'll be right back. I forgot to take that out. So the raisins are optional, but a lot of families like to add that in it. It actually gives the rice, and it's part of the traditional recipe. I put just a handful of the golden raisin. It's not going to change the flavor of the rice, but it's really going to give it a rich color. And I'm going to use just a little bit of meatball spice. So this is also already together. It's nutmeg, mace, cumin, garlic, clove. It's really nice, and it's from the Israeli brand Gan Eden. So I like that because it's already, pre-measured and pre-prepared. And I'm going to give all this a toss. So inside, again, I have my, and I didn't put my oil, huh? I'm going to put my oil. I didn't put that. 2 tablespoons of oil. So I have 1.5 cup of rice, 2.5 cup of water to 3 cups, depending on how you like it. 2 tablespoons of oil, 1 tablespoon of Moroccan, a little bit less than a teaspoon of salt, a little bit less than a teaspoon of the meatball spice. If not, you can add a little bit of nutmeg, mace, clove, and cumin, just a little bit. And did I say the salt? Yes, I did. And then turmeric, a teaspoon of turmeric, and then 1/3 of a cup or a big handful of the golden raisins. I'm going to close my bag, but I'm going to leave enough room for the rice to expand. And I'm going to make a little tear so that the steam can come off. Not big, just a little tear. Looking for my ribbon to close my bag. So again, I made a little tear. I leave enough room for the rice to expand and the steam to have room. I'm going to close it with a tiny piece of ribbon, and I'm going to put it in here. There's a little bit of water that fell out of it, but that's okay. Now I'm going to use the same...
It's looking good already.
Yeah, I'm going to use the same container, and I'm going to put my second bag. This one is going to be for my wheat berry. So I'm going to put it right here. Okay, and again, washed and measured, this time 2 cups of, or 1.5 cup of wheat berry. I'm also going to put, for 1.5 cup of wheat berry, I'm going to put 3 cups of water. Wheat berry is a bit more firm, kind of a bite to it, so you want to put a little bit more water, not like the rice that I reduced it to about 2.5 cups. You want to go with the 3 cups for 1.5 cup of wheat berry. You want to take a full head of garlic and put that in the wheat. You want to take a big generous tablespoon of harissa. Again, optional if you don't have or you don't want to use, but really flavors it very well and very nicely. I'm going to put a tablespoon of maracov, a teaspoon of salt.
What a teaspoon.
Yeah, teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of cumin. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of paprika. So teaspoon of cumin, tablespoon of paprika. Okay, so we have 1.5 cup of wheat berries, 3 cups of water, 1 whole head of garlic, 1 tablespoon paprika, 1 tablespoon harissa, 1 tablespoon maracov, 1 teaspoon of the cumin, a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to put also a teaspoon of garlic powder. So all those flavors are going to be delicious married together with the wheat berry. I'm going to give it again a generous good stir. I'm going to do the same that I did for the rice. I'm going to tie it, leave enough room for the wheat berries to expand and cook while it's in the pot. If I can tie it. Okay. And I'm going to make a little slit to let the steam go. And there we go. I'm going to put that on top. So maybe if Daniel wants to bring this forward.
At least I'm doing something.
Yeah. So right now the pot is already on. We have everything in, including the 2 bags on top. I'm going to take, so before Shabbat, I'm going to make sure that I don't need more water. Again, I apologize, I put two cups in the recipe on Facebook. I'll correct it, but really this size of pot for 8 people will need more like 4 cups of water, and it brings it to 3/4 height of the pot. I'm going to actually leave it like that for now. I'm going to take a clean cloth that I'm going to put over the crock pot to enable the steam to stay in and for the pot and for the food to cook. But before I light my candles, I'm going to make sure that the water didn't go down that much and that I don't need to add a little bit. Now throughout the night, the water is going to cook down. The flavors are going to get absorbed, all the potatoes and everything's going to brown and be delicious, and you'll be left with just a little bit of a sauce on the bottom that's going to be delicious and have absorbed all the flavors. So as you can see, it was a 1, 2, 3 thing. It's super easy. All you need is the ingredients and have everything in hand, and it took me even with all my talking, it took me 30 minutes to put it together, but in 10 minutes, if you guys didn't have to be entertained, I would have finished my Dafina. But I hope that you try to make it for your family. I know they're going to love it. I'm going to invite Daniel on this side, or Cantor B on this side of the counter.
You don't know how it feels to be on the other side.
I know. He was so lonely.
Well, I was waiting because
I know.
I didn't want to bother you. You were doing so well.
Well, you weren't bothering me, but I had to concentrate because I really wanted you guys to get like the full scope, and I didn't want to forget anything, and I wanted to mention everything. But because today is Shabbat, and because so many of us are still not going to synagogue, I want Daniel to sing for us
Oh,
today
come on.
a Kabbalat Shabbat song.
I can't.
One of my favorite ones.
I can't. Which one?
Well, no, you know which one it is, because if you don't, you're in really big trouble. It's 31 years we celebrated last month. You're in deep doo-doo if you don't know my favorite.
31.
Or one of everybody's favorite.
Long years.
From Kabbalat Shabbat. Sing us a song to put us in the spirit of
Sing
Shabbat.
us a song. You're the chazan man.
No, but
Sing
the
us a song.
Chazan, stay focused.
Can't.
Sing us a song to get us
so
into the mood of Shabbat, to excite us for this like big day that's coming up, where we're going to be able to unplug, disconnect, connect with our loved ones,
Yes.
rest.
Yes.
And because we can't go to synagogue, sing us something so we can carry it all of Shabbat.
Well, if you want to do Kabbalat Shabbat, I mean, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi.
Oh, that's
But there's several tunes.
Which
to
one
it.
do you like?
Lecha Dodi, Likhat Kala.
Just
Let's
something.
go.
Stop dancing.
Okay, let's go. It's actually Tisha B'Av is over. I can put my music, I can dance, I can go wild, I can go crazy. It's time for parties and simchas.
Funny that she asked me to
I'm
come
not
and sing something,
invited.
and
I'm
then
not
she always
invited to
talks
anything
about
yet
it.
because of this stupid virus. But if you want, invite me in your garden. Put some music.
Lecha Dodi.
But put them first in that
Oh.
quick one, and then after that.
Lecha Dodi Likhat Kala Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Hey, Lecha Dodi Likhat Kala Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Shamor Bezachor Bedibor Echad
Ishbiyanu.
El Amiuchad Adonai Echanu Shemo Echad Leshemo Tiferet Velitila Lecha Dodi Likhat
Kala.
Pene
Shabbat
Nekabela. Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Now your way. Come on, you can show us.
No,
With the meatball.
the end is my way.
Yeah,
My
the
way?
lecha dudi your way. With the meatball spices. Let's go.
It's coming in with my nose.
It's okay. Let's go. Well, how did you do it? Lecha.
Lecha Dodi. No, Lecha Dodi Likhat Kala Pene Shabbat. The Indians are coming. Let me show you before we leave. I want to show you the chalas.
Likhat
The chalot.
kala.
Come on,
I
listen.
can't sing by myself.
Check out these chalot, ladies and gentlemen. This is Shabbat. We want to wish you all a beautiful, beautiful Shabbat.
Shabbat
Say Shabbat
shalom, everybody.
We love you.
Don't know how much I miss you.
So, guys,
Shabbat is not the same
So-
since we don't see each other, since we don't go to the synagogue together, since we don't get to hug and kiss each other, since we don't even get to shake each other's hands. But one day, really soon, we'll be reunited, we'll be together.
Amen.
In the meantime,
In the meantime,
meet us at 4 o'clock on
every
Thursday
Thursday, 4 o'clock, right here.
for quarantine cooking.
Quarantine cooking.
Continue to support the
Continue to
synagogue
support
if
the
you want
synagogue.
one of my treats in your gift bag.
Oh,
that's just a
that's a
plug.
plug.
I know. But in the meantime, join us. Reach out. Send me requests if you want me to prepare something. And don't hesitate
Don't
to
hesitate.
ask questions, follow up even afterwards on Facebook or even by email. You know where to reach us. Even leave me a message at the synagogue. I love you guys very much. I wish everybody a refuah shelema. Whoever needs a good vibe, positive thoughts, whoever is struggling, who's ill from the virus, whoever needs anything, Canterbury and I are sending you a refuah shelema, a Shabbat shalom. We love you very much. We miss you, and we will see you next week.